Today I will be ranking every CS2 knife, but instead of ranking them based on how cool they are, I will be ranking them based on how well they would fit a movement player's playstyle, I guess. Starting off with the bayonet vanilla. Now, if I'm being completely honest, I like the way the bayonet looks. I don't know, I just like straight knives. I don't like when there's too much going on the screen when doing movement. So you would think that I would put bayonet on like a high tier, but this is not the case. I think it's okay, and the only reason it's okay is because how it looks. I don't really like the animation that much, especially when it comes to movement. It's a lot. It's just like you throw it in the air and it's just like a little bit too much. But overall, I think this knife deserves the okay tier. Now moving on to the Bowie knife. As you can see, they have added the left hand for it, and honestly, I don't know if I like it. I mean, I think the left hand is cool. I think it should have had a left hand since the beginning, but it just looks so out of place now. I'm just like not used to it. But I have to say, the default Bowie knife actually looks insane in this game. It looks like an actual blade. But movement wise, honestly, it's not that bad. The pull-out animation is a little bit kind of boring. It is a pretty cheap knife, so if you don't have a whole lot of money, then it would be a very good candidate for your movement knife. I don't know why this is like the only phase 2 Doppler knife that has the gold handle, but it looks fucking sick. So if you are gonna get a Bowie knife, I highly recommend getting this one. That being said, is it better than the bayonet? You know what? I'd say it's either top of meh or it's at the bottom of okay. So for now, I'm gonna put it at the bottom of okay. Next up, the butterfly knife. Now, I think everyone loves the butterfly knife. Like, even non-movement players, like, everyone just loves it. I mean, the animations are just clean, and it has more than like one animation, like for pull out and for inspect as well. The fun fact, it actually has 3 different inspect animations. Yep, I've actually never seen the butterfly knife vanilla in CS2, and it looks kind of bad, I'm not gonna lie. Why is it so like gray? It used to be a lot like brighter in CSGO, and I don't really like how like it looks kind of like a toy knife a little bit. This video is brought to you by CSGO Big, which is a fun case opening site with game modes such as case battles, which is my personal favorite, and jackpot, coin flip, roulette, defusal, and regular old cases. They are currently running their summer event with 200k worth of prizes, as well as 10k in daily rewards, and if you use the code SCRIPE here, then you get 3 free cases that you can open, and you can also get a 5% deposit bonus if you type the promo code SCRIPE. You can deposit with crypto, skins, gift cards, or even with credit cards. And once you're done playing, you can either withdraw your money in skins or crypto. Make sure to gamble responsibly. I think this is one of the best looking knives in terms of movement, but I think there can only be one god tier, and I don't think it belongs to the butterfly, so I'm going to be putting it at the top of nice. Next up, classic knife. I think the classic knife is very underrated. You almost never see it in game. Especially if you're a movement player, like you probably have never seen any other movement player use this. Obviously, if you're an OG CS player, then you probably have a soft spot for this knife, which I do too, because I used to play CSS a lot. But the one thing I really hate about the CS2 implementation of this knife is the fact that it's horizontal when you hold it. Because in CSS and CS 1.6, you hold it vertically, and it also doesn't really cost a whole lot. I mean, obviously it is not the cheapest knife, but if you don't have money for like an M9, then this would definitely be a good candidate for a knife. That being said though, is it better than Bowie? It's definitely not in the nice tier. Honestly, the classic could be like either or, like either side of this Bowie knife, but I'm just gonna put it in front of it for now, because I think I like it a little bit better than the Bowie knife. Next up is the default CT knife, and yeah, I think it's better than the butterfly. Now, the default CT knife just looks clean. I mean, like, you could ask any movement player and they would all say that they really love the default CT knife. And a lot of movement players actually just only use gloves and a default CT knife, or default T-knife as well, I guess, because they just like the way it looks. And you could buy like a hand wraps leather and then just rock this combo. Very solid and very clean knife. And I do think that it is better than the butterfly in terms of movement. Next up, the default T-knife. A lot of movement players actually don't like this knife. Not just movement players, but a lot of people just don't like the default T-knife, and I don't know why, because I actually really like it. I don't think it's as good as the CT knife. I will give you that. And it's definitely not better than the butterfly either. I'm gonna be putting it above bayonet on the OK tier. Now, obviously, I'm sure a lot of you guys already know how the default T-knife looks, but yeah, here it is in case you haven't seen it before. Honestly, looking at it in game now, I think I actually would put it in the nice tier. There's something about default knives. Like, as you play CS, obviously, like, if you've only ever had a default knife, then you would get bored of it, of course. But they genuinely are a solid knife. Like, the pull-out animation is clean, they look clean, you hold it like an actual, like, just you hold it normally. You know what? It is in a nice tier. Next up, we have the falchion knife. The falchion knife, I think, is definitely underrated. I mean, look at this fucking right click. Yeah, solid. But yeah, like I said, I think the falchion knife is very underrated in terms of movement knives, and it's very cheap as well. That being said, I think it's definitely better than classic, and honestly, I think it's better than the bayonet as well. I will put it above bayonet. It's not better by a whole lot, but I do think I like the animation on this knife is a little bit more. Next up is the flip knife. Now, flip knife, I will also say, is extremely underrated. Back in the day, flip knife actually used to be one of my favorite knives because it was so cheap and it looks just really cool. I still think it's like one of the best looking knives in the game. Honestly, if this knife had any other animation, it would probably be my favorite knife in the whole game. And for that, I will put it above falchion knife. Will I? No, I'm gonna put it below falchion knife. I think falchion knife is better. Next up, we have the gut knife. Gut knife is also underrated. God, it's like I'm saying every knife in the game is underrated. But like generally, gut knife I think is underrated. The pull-out animation is very clean when you're like trying to B-hop or just anything. And like even inspecting it right after pull-out just looks very nice. And since it is underrated, that means it's extremely cheap. And honestly, this might surprise you, but I am putting it in the nice tier. I think I would get the gut knife over any of these knives if I had to buy one any day. Next up is the Huntsman, the big brother of the gut knife. I don't think I can say that this is an underrated knife. I think a lot of people actually know that this is a very nice looking knife, and I've seen a lot of movement players use this knife for a good reason, because it looks very nice. I think for b-hopping especially, the the Huntsman and the gut knife are very good. I think I'll put it one above the gut knife. Honestly, yeah, I think I would put it below the default T-knife. And I just think the blade is a little bit too long and too big. I don't know why, but I just like skinny knives. I don't really like fat looking motherfucker. Next up, everyone's beloved Karambit. The Karambit obviously is a very cool looking knife, right? But I think the animation, the pull-out animation really carries it. And even the inspect animation really carries it. I just feel like when I use a Karambit when I'm doing movement, I just don't like, I don't know, just for some reason it feels like it's more of a, just a try-hard knife and not really a movement knife. You know what, I was gonna shit on this knife because I have used a Karambit a couple times in my life. And I can't lie, I get bored of it very quickly when I use it. Like if I buy a new Karambit and I keep using it like every day, I get bored of it pretty quickly, like within a couple days. For that reason only, I can't put it to God tier, but I will put it above the default. Will I? Actually, fuck. I'm genuinely contemplating this. I don't know if I should put it above the default CT knife. It's definitely better than Butterfly, 100%. Is it though? Wait, hold up. Yeah, I'm gonna put it above the default CT knife. I don't know what I'm even thinking about, bro. Dude, actually would... I don't even know, man. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it there. Yeah, fuck it. No! Fuck, I'm so indecisive, bro. I don't know. I'll put it below the default CT knife. I don't know. Next up, we got the kukri knife, the newest knife in the whole game. Now, I have to say kukri, not a huge fan. And I'm not a huge fan of the fucking neighbor either for drilling when I'm trying to record a video. I really like the animations, this one especially, this pull-out. But the thing I don't like about this knife the most is the way it looks. Like, it's just too, like, high. Like, it's almost in the middle of your screen. Like, it pretty much is. If you were to hold an angle here, like, look. It just fucking covers up the whole screen almost. Like you can't see, you have to look like this. And for that reason only, I think it's the first meh. And you know what? I'm gonna bring the Bowie and the classic knife to meh as well. Because I think these three are a lot better than these three. And now time for the one and only god tier knife. I mean, you already know, it's the M9 bayonet. Oh my god, even in the server, bro, I'm just like, the server I'm on is this guy, so what's better, M9 or Butterfly knife? Personally, I like the M9 more, and then this guy said M9 as well. So as you can see, everyone loves the M9, not even just movement players. But I mean, movement players specifically love the M9. M9 is also my favorite knife in the whole game. And there are two reasons. The first one is obviously because of how it looks. I just think it looks clean as hell. The little circle there and the teeth looking part, and like, I don't know, it's just a nice looking knife. And And secondly, the pull-out animation. I mean, just look at that, bro. It's so clean. Like, your movement clip just gets 5 times better if you have an M9. That's why every movement YouTuber has an M9.
Look how fucking sexy this knife is.
So yeah, M9 definitely the best knife in the whole game in terms of movement and just anything. And funnily enough, we got the worst knife in the whole game right after it. I think the Navalia knife is probably gonna be the only one in the EU tier. Well, actually, I don't know about that yet. But it's definitely the worst knife in the whole game. Oh, I mean, just look at that. That looks fucking... that looks so sad, bro. Please do not buy a Navalia knife. Even if you have the money for it, just use the default knife. I beg you, bro. You know what? In fact, I'm just gonna make it its own tier. It's at the very bottom. It's the worst knife in the game. It's just... it gotta have its own tier. Next up, we got the Nomad knife. The Nomad knife was a knife that not a whole lot of people talked about until Simple actually used it in a pro match. And then everyone started buying one and it shot up in price. And honestly, I think it's a very cool looking knife. I think the looks are a lot better than the animation. I don't really care about the animation that much. Like, the design of the knife is really cool. Even the carbon fiber part and everything. Yeah, that being said, I think I will give it a meh tier. The animation makes me want to put it to EU tier, because I think these three have a lot better animation than the Nomad knife. No, I'll keep the Nomad knife at the bottom of meh. Next up, the paracord knife. I'm not sure if people like this knife a lot. I don't really know what the general opinion of this knife is, but I personally hate this knife. I think it just looks ass. Animations are also ass. I mean, they tried something, I guess, but like, it's just even the animation where he like throws the knife to the other hand, like, hold up, like that. I don't think that looks clean. I think it's the first EU tier. It's definitely better than Navalia. I would definitely use it over Navalia, but it's not a knife that I would ever buy myself. Next up, we have the Movement player's second favorite knife, I feel like, the butt plugs. Every Movement player seems to love this knife, and I am sad to say that I am not a part of that gang. I'll put it at the bottom of okay. I think the bayonet is better. A lot of Movement players would probably put these knives next to the M9, or like somewhere next to the Carit and Butterfly, I guess. I think the design of these knives is really cool, but the fact that you have 2 of them is what I don't really like. Like, it looks too symmetrical. It doesn't feel like CS. But I am glad that they finally fixed the little annoying screen shake thing that would happen in CSGO.
Alright, so everyone's talking trash about the shadow daggers again because of the shaking. So I figured I'd tell you guys why they do that. Honestly, I thought it was obvious. I mean, the guy is pulling these out of his asshole.
Next up, the skeleton knife. This animation just looks shit. I think we can all agree. But the rare pull-out animation, which is rare, as you can fucking see, that animation looks insane. Like, I wish that was the normal animation. I don't know, I feel like this knife is just overpriced as hell. And for the price alone, I think I have to put it somewhere in, like, maybe the top of meh. Next up, we have the fucking toothpick. Stiletto, I am not huge on. I don't like the inspect animations. The pull-out animation is clean, but I don't like the way it looks. Like, it's so thin. Like, I like thin knives, but I don't like them this thin. I mean, this is literally a toothpick. You know what? I'm gonna put it in EU. I don't like it. I don't like it. I'll put it above the paracord knife, but I don't like it. Survival knife. Honestly, this is one of my favorite knives in the game. It's extremely underrated. It's probably the most underrated knife out of all the knives I've talked about in this video. The design of it is very nice. I like how long it is. I like how thin it is. It's just like the perfect size for a knife, I think. The only thing that's holding it back is the animations, I would say. Like, what is this inspect animation? Ugly as hell. But I will say that this pull-out animation is insane, where he just throws it in the air. Like, oof. Getting that pull-out animation after like a mid-air no-scope with an AWP, dude, it's maximum satisfaction. I'll put it right there. I think it's better than the butterfly, but I think it's not as good as the Karambit, I would have to say. It's like the top 3 knives of all time for me. Next up, the Talon knife. Now, this knife is the Karambit's disabled cousin, or maybe the cool cousin, depending how you look at it. To be honest, I think this knife looks better than the Karambit, but I think the pull-out animation is not as cool. And I mean, the inspect animation is still the same, unless you get the rare one. Yeah, starts doing that. I still don't think the pull-out animation is that bad. Like, I think it looks pretty okay. It's just not as cool as the Karambit. I'll put it at the bottom of nice. It's not as clean as the gun. Yeah, I think that's like the perfect spot for it. Last but not least, we have the Ursus knife. And I know that I said last but not least, but ironically this knife is one of the knives that I like the least in the whole game. The handle just looks like it's made out of plastic. I mean, it probably is made out of plastic, but it just doesn't look good. Pull-out animations are bad. Even the rare one where he flips it. Even that is just, I don't know, I don't like the animation. This animation is pretty cool, I guess. No, it's not. I'm lying. Oh, there's a guy outside the map. But yeah, I think this is the third and final EU. I think it's better than the paracord knife, but it's not better than the stiletto. And that is my tier list.